Hi everybody, this is Trish from Art Journal Junkie. Over the weekend I spent a couple of hours playing with my Gelli plate making some prints. But what to do with them? They're just so beautiful, I thought, well, let me put them into a journal. So these pages are actually size A5. I don't know what that is in Imperial. And they're just simple cardstock that I printed onto using some stamps that I made and some stencils. So all you need to do is fold each page with the artwork facing in and score with your bone folder. Now this will make an A6 journal, and you can put as many pages as you wish together. But I think I only used 16 in this particular one because I vaguely remember that 16 is the right size for a signature. Anyway, here are a couple of the pages that I've stuck together already. On the left hand side is the fold, and then each one is stuck back to back, keeping the fold on the one side and the open edges all on the other. And at this stage I'm not too worried about them not being aligned properly. I will trim it down later on. So here I've got some really super fast quick drying glue. It's just a wooden paper glue, and I use my credit card to smooth it down because I really don't want any lumps in the card. I don't think you will see it, but just as an in case. So at this point I'm not taking any glue over the edge of the fold and just smoothing it out, putting the glue onto both the page that I'm going to stick down and to the journal that's sort of being built up. By the way, the marks on the back are where I braided off the excess acrylic paint when I was making my Gelli prints. So what I first started off doing was butting up the fold against the others, but I found eventually that my book started going a little bit wobbly, so that's why I had to trim it down at the end. So I think in future what I'll do is I'll actually align the open sides of each page. So there we go, this is how you build up the journal. Again, I'm going to just do one more to show you, and I'm sure you'll get the hang of it yourself. Fold it in half and score it with the bone folder, and then a good dollop of glue. You can be quite liberal with your glue because you really want to get it edge to edge. I found out later on that with this particular glue I didn't have to actually glue both sides, or both sides of the book that I wanted to put together, both pages. But I think just as an in case, I wanted to make sure that it really stuck down fast. And again, again butting it up against the other on the folded side. My journal's coming together nicely. So you can see at the top there's some white cardstock showing through. I'm not worried about that, I'll fix it up later. So this is what it's starting to look like. This is a piece of A4. I think that's about 8 by 11 inches, something like that in imperial terms. But anyway, it's double the size of the cardstock that I had printed on. And this was really where I'd braid off all the colors and stamped on while I was jelly printing all these little A5 pages. So I've decided I'm going to use that as my cover. You can see it's a little bit wonky, but hey, you know, perfectly imperfect. And if you want it perfect, go buy it in China. But this is my journal, and I don't mind those wonky bits. So as you can see, each page is a fold or a double page spread on its own. I've got some drywalling tape from my darling husband, and I'm going to use that to stiffen the bound edge, or the edge where the folds are all sitting. Now if I trimmed that off, and you can see it's wonky, if I trimmed it off, I'd actually cut into each of the pages. So I don't want to do that, because then of course you wouldn't have that lovely double page spread for each page. So now I'm just again grabbing out some glue and putting the drywall tape just over to give it a little bit more of a sort of a secure spine. Don't be tempted to put any glue onto the spine area, just on the two sides, the front and the back covers. And I'm gently pulling this around to the front or the back, I don't know which side that is, but at any rate making sure that it sticks well with some additional glue. And then I'm going to cut off those edges once I'm happy that the tape is dry. Right, so now I'm going to decide which side is going to be front and which is going to be back. At this point it doesn't really matter, because whatever's inside is a surprise, to say the least. So, but I do know that I like this green strip and this little bit of turquoise at the bottom, and I want to keep that as part of the feature. I like the orange there, but I really do think that, you know, this green bit is going to be, with the band, is going to be my cover. I'm just showing you there that this is like super fast acting glue, so I have to work quickly with it. Whoops. Next time, however, I think I'm going to use a glue that is not quite as fast drying, because it sort of got me quite nervous, and I think that might also be why my little book went a bit squiffy. But never mind, you know what, it's a handmade journal and I love it. Okay, so I don't want to glue any other pages together, so just to protect it I'm putting down just another piece of cardstock, or you can put deli paper, whatever you wish, and smooshing all the glue onto the cover, and then here I'm just putting it down to make sure that I get that lovely green and turquoise stripes on the side and the bottom. Oh, this is so exciting! I must tell you, I really have enjoyed making this little journal. Right, now I'm going to turn it over and apply some glue to the spine, and then again to the other cover, the other side of the cover, whichever cover it is, the back or the front, I don't know. But again, just protecting my inside pages from getting glued together. And clearly I like this glue because it seems to me that the bottle is emptying quite fast. Now, something I wanted to mention is you'll notice that none of the pages are glossy. It's all just the acrylic paint that's been left as is from the Gelli print. But when I finished this journal, I decided that I wanted to make the covers a little bit glossy. So I used some gel medium just to give it that nice smooth sheen, but not being too glossy. So I used a matte gel medium. Right, there we go. So my covers are now done. All is left to dry. I did obviously get a little bit of glue in there, but it didn't bother me too much. And I now I'm going to just trim it off and neaten it up. So I've got a surgeon's scalpel here. Well, the blade is a surgeon's scalpel blade, and it's incredibly sharp, and that's one thing that I've learnt when cutting anything. If your blade is blunt, it's going to tear your paper and you're going to be seriously unhappy. So always make sure that if you're using an X-Acto knife or a craft knife or whatever blade you're using, that it is always kept sharp, or you put a new blade in. And I have a lovely heavy steel ruler which I like to use. I do have one of these lighter weight steel rulers. Let me just find it here. This one. But I just find it's a bit flimsy for this book, so I'm going to go with the heavier steel ruler that I've got. And I'm going to just neaten up and trim off the excess Gelli print. And by the way, don't throw the excess away. Keep it in your stash and use it for something like a scrap journal that you make, or for backgrounds or little elements that you're going to cut out and collage with. It really, really is fabulous. And I can't believe I did this. Look at that. A piece of white showing through, really. So what do they say? Measure once, no, measure twice, cut once. Well, I got it all wrong. Okay, and I'm going to finish off the rest of this by just slicing neatly around the edges and just taking my time, because I really didn't want to mess this up. By the way, I didn't speed any of the process up as I normally do in my videos, mainly because I wanted you to see that, you know, taking your time and enjoying the process is really quite rewarding. And there we go, a little journal. Magic of video. I've trimmed off all the excess. You can see that's not quite trimmed well, But you know what, as I said, it's homemade, it's mine, and I was happy with that. Now, one of the things is these little white bits that stick out. I really didn't like them. So I decided to use some acrylic paint and paint in the edges. I mean, look there, look how much nicer it looks compared to leaving the edges raw, if you want. So I spent a little bit of time and I used primarily the same colors that I had used on the Gelli prints, but also trying to keep in mind that not every page that backed on each other had the same color combination. So where I might have put some orange and it came through like there on the green, I didn't really mind at all. And where I might have created two colors from brayering, I beg your pardon, creating one color from brayering two together, now I didn't have that color anymore, so it's fine. I just put on what I wanted, keeping in the color scheme, and then if I smushed around too much, out came the baby wipe and I cleaned up. And that's the beauty of doing this sort of work. It's just so satisfying, you know, there's nothing that goes wrong, and if it does, just smush it and start it all over again. So that, as I said, look at that. I put yellow and I mushed it up a bit and I just started all over again. Put some orange down and continued along. So when all is said and done, and I finished all these pages, I'm going to flip through and show you each of the pages in my journal as it is. And then one day when I finished using, and I think I'm only going to use black and white in this little journal, when I'm finished I will do a flip through, I promise. So I hope you've enjoyed this small video, and thanks for watching, and come on over to Art Journal Junkie on Facebook and join me. And I hope you liked it, and if you did, please consider giving me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And yep, here we go, one little cute Gelli Print journal ready to be journaled, and I'll show you that process when I've completed it. Bye for now.